I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. This episode is brought to you by 5-4 Club. I've been using this club for over a year now. They're exclusively where I buy clothes now. So what you'll do is you'll go to the support the podcast link. You click on the 5-4 logo and you'll get 50% off your first month's package. That'll take you straight to their website. You'll answer a couple of questions about your sizes and your style preferences. And every month you'll get a package of clothes specifically selected for your style. Also, you'll get access to their online members-only store. They have clearance sales all the time. They have really cool clothes. They have shoes and glasses and wallets, and ties, socks. You name it, they have it. It's a really great service, and like I said, I've been using them for over a year, and they're my favorite clothing brand. So check them out. This episode is also sponsored by Pure Vitamin Club's Sublingual B12 tablets, which is the only sublingual B12 supplement that doesn't contain binders and fillers and delivers 2,000 micrograms of the B12 form nature intended directly to where it's needed by dissolving tastelessly under your tongue. Everyone needs B12. It's an essential water-soluble nutrient that your body can't make on its own. B12 gives a boost of energy to vegans, active people, people over 65, anybody who is experiencing low energy or fatigue, and anybody who experiences mood swings or is depressed. Click on the photo link on the home page or on the support the show page at fascinationstreetpod.com. Okay guys, I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet. This episode is Dee Murthy, co-CEO and co-founder of the 5-4 Club, as well as Young and Reckless clothing brands. He was nice enough to sit down with me over the phone, and we chit-chatted for a little bit about how he got to where he is and why he does some of the things that he does, which kind of helped him get to where he is. Without further ado, Dee Murthy from at 5-4 Club.
Hey Steve, it's Dee from 5-4.
Hi Dee, co-founder and co-CEO of the 5-4 Club brand.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to talk to little old me.
My pleasure.
So a lot of people might not be familiar with 5-4. I have been a 5-4 Club member for about a year and a half now, and it is my favorite thing. You don't know this, but you're sort of a sponsor of my show, one of them. I have a
awesome.
I have a support the show page, and on that page is, that link that members can share.
Yeah.
So that's on there, and
awesome.
I do a spot every once in a while for it. Anyway, so thank you for that. Tell us how you got into the fashion industry. You're from LA, right? The LA area?
Yeah, I grew up in a suburb in LA in the valley called Granada Hills. Started a business my senior year with a close friend of mine at USC. So that was 15 years ago. We started out to kind of really launch a men's fashion brand. And we were really inspired by a trip to New York. My friend Andres goes to me and goes, hey, there's this really cool brand new store in New York. It just came from Europe. I want to go shopping. I don't have any money. I really don't want to go shopping. He's like, no, just come. We'll hang out after. I'm like, okay. So we go to this store, and this place is madness. There's thousands of people. There's like 100 people in line to pay, and I'm just sitting in the corner, kind of grumpy. And I look at one of the price tags, and I flip it over, and I was like, wow, this jacket is only $30. And I was blown away at the price and the quality, and it was the first H&M store in America. So at that point, I was like, wow, fashion can be actually accessible in terms of price. That's super interesting. So we end up coming back home and are starting our senior year of college, and we have to write a business plan on our business. And after seeing that H&M store, I was like, we should be in fashion. I didn't know you can make product of that quality at this price. So we launched 5-4 as a class project our senior year of USC, and we really just learned. I mean, we literally opened the yellow pages and found a screen printer and learned how to make T-shirts in LA our senior year of college. And that's kind of actually how we started. And really the next couple of years just kind of grinding it out. I spent my time on the road. So I packed a bunch of samples in my car, and I made a line sheet of everything we had, and I literally just drove the whole country, ball to ball. So started in the West Coast, did up and down the coast, from San Diego to Northern California, then eventually made my way to places in Vegas and Denver and Detroit and Chicago and Atlanta and Florida, DC. I've been to every mall you can ever imagine or ever want to go to, and that's really how we built our business, like the old-fashioned kind of like door-to-door salesman. And my partner, Andres, kind of learned how to design and manufacture clothes domestically and abroad. And that was really the first 3, 4, 5 years of 5-4. And it was a traditional wholesale apparel business, right? Because retail was still very strong. We were in small boutiques to specialty retailers, and then eventually we got into department stores. So at one point we were in Macy's, Nordstrom, The Buckle, in stores all across the country. So it was pretty exciting. And that's really the first kind of like 5-6 years of 5-4.
Wow, that sounds kick-ass. Now, I've heard of you on a couple of other interviews. It seemed like there was maybe some starts and stops along the way with 5-4.
Yeah, absolutely. So we intended originally to be a traditional wholesale apparel brand. And when we started, the retail market was still there. The internet really had kicked in terms of e-commerce and had an impact on the business. Like no one was really shopping online in 2002, 2003. So we were like, okay, we want to go be Ralph Lauren inside of the Macy's. When we set out to do that, everything was on the right trajectory. We went from 5 Macy's to 400 Macy's in 2 years, and our business was just growing like crazy. And then the recession hit, and that really was the true wake-up call for us, because at that point, 2 things were happening. One, the recession really wiped out a lot of kind of unhealthy retailers, which so happened to be a lot of our customers. And we also realized that Macy's is no longer the place we're going to grow, because in a recession, big retailers like to partner with big brands and go bigger with them. And they kind of left us by the wayside. So we were counting on this Macy's growth, and it kind of just evaporated. And then all these bankruptcies happened, and people owed us money, and cancellations, and just the worst things that can happen during a recession happened to us in like 60 days. So we really started thinking about we got to get to the customer direct. And e-commerce had started then, but we really hadn't seen anything of significant scale, especially in apparel. So we were like, let's go direct to the customer. But at that point, direct to the customer still meant retail stores. So we actually opened up 3 retail stores in Southern California in A malls with the Westfield Group. They were kind enough to offer us discounted rent, help out with our build-outs. And we went open 3 stores, and we learned the hard way that men's retail in the mall is like the worst business. Guys hate going to the mall. Guys don't enjoy shopping. They don't know what they want. And so we opened these stores, and we were like, if this is our future of our business, we're kind of screwed. We don't see any scale, because if it's not working in Metro LA with high income, fashionable people, then it's not going to work in the suburbs of America. So we were really shocked on at this point, it was 2012, and we were like, we've done this for 10 years, and we're not seeing any scale anywhere, because the department store route was getting disrupted. The smaller stores were kind of evaporating. Direct-to-consumer retail was super challenging. And then, even on the internet, things were happening, but it was so hard to get people to come to your site, right? In 2009, 2010, Facebook advertising was still in its infancy. Search was kind of there, but people weren't getting scale because there wasn't enough people searching for fashion. So we were really trying to figure out e-commerce ourselves. We always had a site, but it never did any real business unless we were on sale. So it felt like our retail store. Then finally, after 10 years in 2012, we were like, we got to figure something else out, because we don't know how to do anything else. We can't get jobs. We got to figure 5-4 out. And, we really just kept observing what other people were doing in the industry. And we saw a women's shoe brand doing subscription, and they were completely vertically integrated, meaning they made all their own product. It was their own brand. And we were like, wow, this is super interesting. I wonder if this could apply to us. And that's really what kind of created the 5-4 Club. And the idea was really to create an experience for guys that takes out all the pain points of the shopping experience, like going to the mall or actually talking to a salesperson to figure out what to wear or waiting for a deal. With our service and our brand, we were able to deliver what we saw were only the best times at the mall on a daily basis, which is a really easy experience, great quality product, a really cool brand, at an accessible price point. So in May of 2012, we launched the 5-4 Club, and we kind of just turned the site on and said, hey, let's see what happens. Will people like this or not? And the first day, we took 1,000 people, and we were like, holy crap, people are really resonating with this. So we just kind of started learning, because we didn't really know anything about customer acquisition or customer service, or how did you do fulfillment for a subscription business, or how do you do merchandising. So for like 18 months, we just kind of sat and watched how our customer interacted with us and taken all the feedback that we received from the customer, and we kind of fine-tuned it. And finally, in December of 13, we were like, we're sick of wholesale, we're sick of retail, we're sick of traditional e-commerce. We think this is the future. So we shut all that stuff down, just kind of rolled the dice and said, the subscription business is what's going to help us scale this whole thing, and then we'll come back to the rest of the business later, but right now it's focused on subscriptions. So we did that starting January 2014.
Wow. Going back to a couple of the points about how you said, men don't really like to shop and kind of don't know how to shop. You were telling the story about going to H&M in New York, and you said that, one of the things that amazed you was that there was, like 100 people in line waiting to pay. And that is one of the most frustrating things to me, is to go shopping and nobody wants to take my money. All I want to do is give these people money, but the line's too long, or there's not enough registers, or they're too slow, or whatever. That's one of the things that I really love.
I have a crazy story. Sorry to interrupt you, but I have a crazy story. I was traveling a few months back, and I was in a city, and the hotel was attached to a Macy's, and I forgot my belt, so I just needed a belt. I walked down to the Macy's, and I found the belt, and I couldn't even pay for it. It would have been easier to steal the belt than pay for it.
Right.
And I literally was like, this is a joke. I can't even, the cosmetics counter, there was one lady, and she took my money to pay for the belt. But, that's just a prime example of that, they've pretty much given up at this point. They're not really trying, like the traditional retailer.
Yeah, you're right. The other day I was at a local liquor store, and I have a fairly decent sized liquor cabinet, and sorry about that. And I was kind of running low, and I wanted to stock back up for the holidays, and so I had grabbed 8 different bourbons and put them in my cart, and I pushed my cart up to the cashier, and as I walked up, the cashier turned around and walked away. And so I was like, that's weird. Maybe they're going on break. So I went to the next cashier, and that cashier turned their back on me and started messing on their phone. So I just left. I just left the basket of 8 bourbons, and I just walked out. That's
I think
super frustrating.
That's the prime example. The experience sucks. Experience sucks at retail. The people don't care. So if they don't care, because it's not like they're not paying well. So they're not getting the best people. And because you're not getting the best people, the way the customer is treated is poor. And it's really turned off a lot of people from walking into any store.
It really has. Also, you said guys don't really know how to shop or how to dress or whatever. And, up until just about 2 years ago, my idea of style was how Dawson dressed in Dawson's Creek. And then I finally wised up, and I was like, well, if I just look at the mannequins that are in the stores, that'll give me some clues. But you guys make it so easy, because when you send out the monthly shipment, you get an email of how to wear this, what to wear it with, how to wear it. I mean, it's just, you guys are phenomenal.
Thank you. And I think that's what I realized was I was never into fashion growing up. I was just always intimidated by it, either because the experience I thought was, I felt intimidated walking into a cool store, and then I would be intimidated by price. And what I realized, actually, most guys in America want to dress better. They're just afraid to get started on and how to get started. And I think what we did with the club is changing that perception that it's okay for you to be stylish. It's okay for you to care about your appearance. And we're going to make it really easy and ease you into all types of fashion, not just regular everyday clothes. So I think it's very different in other cultures around the world where fashion is just part of being fashionable, is part of the everyday life. Whereas in America, it's always been a t-shirt jeans culture. And I think now guys are like, wow, it's not that hard to dress up a little nicer. There's easy ways to do it now with the internet. So let's take advantage of that.
There really is. As a matter of fact, that doorbell you heard a few seconds ago, that was my 5-4 being delivered for this month.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, really.
That's amazing. Great timing.
Yeah, great timing. So it's I got a large, like you care about my size. I got a blue cardigan,
yeah.
and I got like a green, sort of a Christmassy, well, not Christmassy, but I don't know what this pattern is called, but
plaid?
Yeah, it's a green plaid,
like a
long sleeve button up.
Yeah.
And then I had added I added a workout bundle.
What you add?
The workout,
and that's amazing because like you're getting a 5'4" Nick Wooster collaboration product, which is like a super heralded menswear guy that you're not getting at the price that we sell the package for $60. And then for adding to that bundle, like, I don't know if you've tried that product yet, but like I'm an avid runner, and like that product, incredible. It feels good. It looks good. It's super stylish, and it's durable. It's like performance activewear. So, I mean, we're trying to show guys that like there's this whole world out there of fashion, and you don't have to be afraid of it or be turned off by the price. Because I mean, most things that I like from other brands are so expensive that I'll never buy them. Because I'm like, I don't want to spend that kind of money on that. Because I know how much things cost. Nothing should cost to the point where you have to pay hundreds of dollars or something.
Right. The reason that I got the add-on of the workout kit was I'm doing a half marathon this coming Sunday, so it got here just in time.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing.
So that's cool.
What half marathon are you doing?
San Antonio.
Okay, cool. Is it flat?
Yeah, San Antonio is pretty flat. It's downtown and it'll wind through streets, but it's pretty flat. I don't see a lot of hills, so it'll be great. Oh, going back to being intimidated going into a store, I don't know if they still do it because I don't really go to malls anymore, but there used to be a store that sold clothes for, I think, men and women, and just outside the store would be like some shirtless buff dude just standing there.
Yeah. Abercrombie and Fitch.
That is super, super intimidating for maybe somebody who's a little less than fit. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay.
No, absolutely. When Abercrombie used to do that, that wouldn't be accepted in today's society to just have only good-looking people just all look the same, kind of intimidating the customer.
And I feel like they were all teenagers, which is probably a felony by the time this airs.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll transition a little bit. You are also into a couple of other companies like Young and Reckless and Ivy Ventures. Yep. Are there any more companies that you're in?
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick background. So Young and Reckless is a brand that we started with a friend of ours who goes by the name Drama, who had a television show on MTV called The Fantasy Factory. We met him literally 10 years ago. He was, looking to get into fashion, but I didn't really know much about him or the show that he was on or kind of the background of that whole scene, and befriended him first and really just kind of understood that whole streetwear skate scene and kind of how it's evolved. And we ended up in 2009 launching Young and Reckless with them, and it's been an incredible experience. The business is still stronger than ever, but it still sells a few mall stores like PacSun, good places like that. And then we have, the thriving e-commerce business. So that actually takes up a good chunk of my time still. My office is actually still in the Young and Reckless 5-4. We all share the same office space. So we're all together all day. And then the other thing I've been involved with is actually a venture fund called Queensbridge Venture Partners, which is actually started out of three of my friends. We all, including my brother, we all started investing in some of the cool tech startups that we were being kind of shown. And then eventually we just kind of ran out of money because every day we found this incredible business. So we ended up raising some money from some private investors, and we kind of formalized a fund. And we were fortunate enough to be like early investors in things like Lyft, Robinhood, and Coinbase, and a bunch of other really cool businesses. So the fund has done extremely well, and we kind of continue to invest when we have the time to focus on it. But all four of us who started the fund kind of all have our own businesses or work full time, so it's kind of hard to focus on it. So, I try to kind of focus most of my energy on 5-4 and Young and Reckless, and obviously all the brands that fall under 5-4, so Grand AC and New Republic and Argenta. But I'm trying to get more focused because I don't want to spread myself too thin.
Well, I don't see how you could not, because that sounds like a lot of stuff. You're spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah. You do. That's why sometimes some plates fall down.
So when things got tough and you had to sort of take a step back and reset with 5-4, how come you didn't quit?
I want to say because we just wanted to see the brand through and we believed in it. But honestly, I think it was because of ego. I couldn't face the facts that I'd done something for 10 years at that time and say, you know what, it's over. Because I'd given up like my entire 20s to this business and it dedicated every ounce of energy, money, time, relationships. And I was like, there's no way we're just going to give up after all this time. So I think the real reason I think at the end of the day was it was a bit ego driven because we just couldn't face our friends and family that we failed. And so it could be considered foolish. In this case, it worked out, but there are other things that I've pursued continued on out of ego that I wish I didn't. So in this case, it worked out, but I think I just can't face failure. Like, it's just such a tough thing to do. But the people that I think can cut things off and move on when things aren't working are actually doing themselves a favor in most cases.
How come you didn't change the name? Since the name, like I said, you had to reset, and so the name had baggage. How come you didn't change the name every time you started it up again?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think we were so attached. Even when we had to close our retail stores, it felt like we lost. Like, damn, this didn't work. And, when you do something negative, more people pay attention than when you do something positive. So, it's always the case of with 5-4, like if the smart move would have been to change the name, start fresh. It's so much easier to start fresh than take something with baggage and try to make it better. And I don't know, there's just been this kind of mental attachment. It's like literally a child, right? So we've been doing it since we were like 20 years old. And so it's really hard for us to kind of get over giving up this brand. And, if we ever hit that kind of fork in the road again, I'd be curious to see what we do.
Interesting. So tell me about your $65 jeans test.
Yeah, so what happened was in 2005, we developed our first jean collection out of China. They were beautiful jeans, and I had sold them to like 200 stores, and they were all custom jeans. They were ticketed at $65, and my investor at the time, who came from fashion, walked into my office and said, "Wow, your jeans look great. How much are they?" I'm like, "Oh, they're going to retail for $65." And he goes, "Bro, no one wants to buy a $65 jean." I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "Lift the price tag off and put 110 on it." And I was like, I sold these jeans for like $30. He's like, "Who cares? Let them make more money. But I promise you, at 110, these jeans are going to sell." And I'm like, "They're made in China." And he's like, "It doesn't matter. It's the price that matters." And lo and behold, we ship it. At 110, we sell out of all the jeans in 60 days. And that launched our denim business because we were considered entry-level, cheap, premium denim. So this is when True Religion and Seven Jeans and all these, it's the first time in the market you saw guys buying $150, $200, $250 jeans, and ours were 110. So we were considered cheap as a premium brand, as opposed to being 65, we would be considered expensive in the Levi's range, which already kind of had the entire market at that price point. So literally it was just a price change. And I see that every day now. It's happening more than ever. All these brand new brands are launching, and they're just pricing themselves in a place of perception. And the thing is, it works incredibly well when the economy is booming. When a recession happens, no one buys anything that's expensive. So when we did that test in 2005, the economy was on fire. It was picking up, and it continued to pick up. It was really in 2008, 2009 when the recession hit where we slashed all our prices and changed our business model.
Gotcha. That's such a great story.
Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like you do, I mentioned off air, that you did a favor for me, and that was really cool. And you did it out of the kindness of your heart with no expectation of anything from me. And I really appreciate that. Do you feel like karma plays a role in your success?
Absolutely. I'm a true believer that if you put good energy out into the world, you'll receive it. At the end of the day, these businesses are, starting any business, whether you're starting a taco truck or a fashion brand or a technology company, all of the businesses are hard. Nothing is easy. There's no such thing as starting a business that's easy. And you need every break to be successful. And there are a lot of things that a lot of people did for us along the way that they didn't have to. And now that I'm in a position to help other people, why not put good energy out there? Because the bundle that I got for you doesn't put me out of business for doing it. It just, you've always been supportive of our brand, so why not? And now, there's a appreciation for our brand and business that you have that maybe you don't have for other businesses. And so I'm a believer that business karma is as real as like personal karma. Like, when you do something in your life that you shouldn't have done, I pay for that immediately. Like, oh man, I just made fun of this guy. I felt really bad. And then 15 minutes later, I got like a parking ticket. It's like instant karma. Like I get instant karma. And I think with business, it may not necessarily work instantly, but there's a lot of good things that have come back to us to help us out in times of need that I'm hoping that will continue to happen, because when people needed help, we were able to help them, or when we were able to put out something that helped someone and didn't really affect us. And I think a lot of business people in the olden times, like meaning 15, 20 years ago, they didn't operate like that. It was always what's best for the business, not what's best for everyone involved. And I think younger people are changing the way people do business. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to do what's right for everybody, not just what's right for our business. Because I think people have a more sensitive mindset that, this action could have a possible negative reaction to somebody.
That all makes sense, man. You're doing it right. Hey, how did you get Chris Paul and Mark Wahlberg as spokespersons? How'd that happen?
Yeah, it's super crazy. Like, those were all like, Chris Paul actually called our office. So right when he got traded to the Clippers,
okay,
he called the office one day and goes, hey, man, I got a pair of jeans, and I really want to get some more clothes. How do I get them? And he literally called the customer service line, and one of my customer service reps said, hey, Chris Paul is on the line. He wants to get some more product. I'm like, Chris Paul? No way. We go pick up the phone, and it's actually him. And we end up meeting up with him, and we become friends. They just moved to LA, and he was like the nicest guy. He's actually a really good person, like included us in his family stuff, and we all just became friends. And then, 2 years ago, we were like, hey, we should really do something. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And then last year, we finally decided to go for it and do it, and all the cool stuff that came out of that happened this year. And I think if you look at all the stuff we do, whether it's Chris or some of these collaborations, they're all authentic and organic, right? Like, we are friends with these people. We all kind of got along. We combined our energy and effort to come up with this cool idea. And with Mark Wahlberg, it was a very similar thing. His assistant at the time wanted some jeans. Mark loves them. Mark goes, hey, I'm going to meet these guys. And he goes, oh, we have a store in the mall, kind of not too far from his house. And he's like, okay, I'll come. And he literally showed up on a Tuesday afternoon to our store in the mall and hung out, took pictures with everyone, and literally just became friends with us, where we go to house for dinner. He invites us to screenings and premieres, and it's becoming this super organic thing. So now we're trying to figure out how to work with them and, and really maybe make some money together. And I think that's a good example of all the karma. It's just like we've always put out good energy to those people, and so they feel that, they'll work with us. And we're not able to pay what a Nike or a big retailer can pay. So they're doing it because they genuinely want to work with us. So I think that's just a testament of kind of how we've always ran our business.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was asking, because obviously I don't know what your margins are, but these clothes are such good quality for such a small amount of money. I don't understand how you guys make any money, much less pay spokespeople. So that all makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's just we're really good at sourcing product, and we really want to focus on building a great brand with our customers. And so if it comes at a sacrifice to us in the short term, but the long term we build the right customer, so be it.
And it sounds like neither one of those interactions would have happened if you had like maybe an outsourced customer service line.
Exactly, yeah. So that's why we've always kept everything in-house, from customer service to fulfillment to we want to kind of control the experience so that if there's a problem, we're best to fix it.
Well, it's working. I mean, every time I've needed anything or needed to talk to somebody, you just hit the website and a little live chat pops up if you want it. So, I mean, it's super handy. Okay.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad about that.
You got married, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago or something?
Yeah, just about.
And I might be making this up, but I think I read somewhere that you had both an Eastern and a Western style ceremony. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's amazing. So,
I'm Indian, and
okay.
My wife's American. I'm Indian American, and we wanted to make it like a fun weekend. So on Friday day, we had an Indian ceremony. And Friday night, we had a traditional dress rehearsal dinner. And then Saturday, we did an American wedding and a traditional ceremony. So reception. And it was fun. It was like my close friends and family that all kind of got together in Santa Barbara for a weekend, and it was just a big party. And I think that's what marriage is. It's like a big celebration of your relationship, so might as well have a good time.
I agree wholeheartedly. My wife and I just recently celebrated 15 years, and it is
oh wow,
it is a joyride if you do it right.
Yes.
So you didn't come in on an elephant, did you? Not like that, right?
No, a lot of people do. I didn't. We didn't want to be too crazy about that, but we did a lot of the traditional Indian stuff and kind of gave some of my friends who weren't exposed a nice taste of it, and they really enjoyed it. We did get everyone dressed up, which was really fun. That
sounds kick-ass. Did Nas perform at your wedding?
Yeah, so he's a close friend of mine. He's our partner in the venture fund, and he, along with another friend of mine, Jay Sean, who's a really great singer, they were feeling the energy, and they just grabbed the mic, and so he just started performing. He performed for like 45 minutes, which was insane. So yeah, it was totally unexpected. He's just like, I gotta perform. I'm like, of course, do whatever you want.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. He wasn't even planned. He just did it.
No, he was just feeling the energy. He looked like, man, this is such a beautiful moment. And he had the most amazing toast to us, just about like relationships and love and marriage and all that incredible stuff. So it was pretty cool that that happened. It was a really fun way to end the weekend.
That sounds crazy cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So let me ask you this question, and this might be a little bit stalkery, but do you have any of that Pappy Van Winkle left?
I do, actually. I was going to pop it open on Christmas.
Invite a close friend over. That's some good stuff.
Yeah. Next time you're in L.A., come on by.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't think I won't hit you up the next time I'm in L.A.
Please do.
Oh, that reminds me. So I was in L.A. a couple months ago, and I got to go down and hang out at the Adam Carolla Studios for a little bit. And that's how I found out about you guys about 5'4" was through the Adam Carolla show, and I was just wondering how did that how did you partner up with him, or was it just strictly an advertising thing, or?
Yeah, we kind of identified a bunch of podcasts we wanted to kind of test out, and so we thought our kind of customer would be, and Adam's demo was definitely in line with our demo, so we had a partnership with him for, I want to say, almost 9 months, and it was great, and it was very successful for us, and it allowed us to kind of introduce to his audience what we do. I think the key thing about it is, like, from an advertising perspective, we're so visual, so when we advertise on podcasts, we're always kind of thinking of how do you tell a story that's intriguing, because, like, when you're selling, say, mattresses, it's easy for you to say, go buy this mattress. You know what that looks like. When I'm telling you clothes, you have no idea what kind of clothes I'm selling you. So, for us to have a successful relationship with his podcast and several others was really exciting, because it's not easy to explain that, right, to the customer or the listener.
I heard him talk about you guys for probably a couple of months before I pulled the trigger, and what really made me pull the trigger was I went to go see him live, and he was wearing your clothes. So I finally got to actually see him.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that just made all the difference right there, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think that's super important.
When is 5/4 Day? Is it May 4th?
May 4th.
Oh my goodness. How cool is that? So is that like your Amazon Prime Day?
Exactly. So that's the day we kind of create a bunch of excitement for our customer. So we reward our existing members. So special offers, special deals of all existing product, and vice versa. If you want to become a member, we'll usually have a great offer so that there's a reason for you to become a member. So, I think for us, it's always been like the traditional days that people shop, called Cyber Monday, right? So Black Friday, those types of days. There's so much that the customer is getting inundated with that's very hard to kind of stand above the noise. And 5/4 Day allows us to be the focal point for our audience. And so that's kind of why we created, because there's so much value we can offer the customer, but they don't get to see it until 5/4 Day, because now we have their attention.
Well, that may be true, but you guys did not slouch on Cyber Monday. Y'all put out some pretty cool offers on Cyber Monday. That was badass.
Yeah, it was great. We've had a great, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That whole experience has been really good for us.
Cool. I'm very excited to see what comes in my mystery box.
Oh yeah, that's incredible value. I'm glad you got that.
Just what I normally get is an incredible value, and this was like 10 pieces for not much more.
Yeah.
I just can't wait.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. So you got married, and I'm assuming that's going great. Is her name Haley? Is that right?
Yep, that's her name.
And then you have a little baby boy.
Yep.
What's his name? Or you don't have to say if you don't want to.
His name's Dominic.
Now, okay, so you said you're Indian, and your name is Dee, spelled Dee. Where Dominic come from?
So Dominic came from, our first date is a restaurant called Little Dom. It's in Los Feliz, California, near Silver Lake. And when we found out we were having a boy, I was trying to think of a name. And, my parents, Dee is a short for Guru Deep. That's my full name. Okay. And my parents gave out very traditional Indian names. And I had a hard time as a child with a traditional Indian name. I was like, I don't want to put my kid through that. And my wife's family gave a ton of suggestions for names, really classic names. And I was like, you need to have something with a little kind of character. And Little Dom's was this restaurant that we ate on our anniversary every year. So I was like, why can't we do Dominic and call him Little Dom? And everyone loved it. So we kind of stuck with that and went with that.
That's really cool. In your inner circle, you've got names like Dominic and Drama and Nas. I mean, it's like you're living Entourage.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
It literally Entourage with him in the mix.
That's really funny.
It's crazy. You just don't know where your life kind of ends up. I was I never imagined anything like this. You know, I was a chubby, nerdy Indian kid most of my life. So it's funny to see that this is the life that I live today.
That's badass. I know that, you'd like to get home at some point, so I won't keep you forever. I just have a couple more things I wanted to ask you. So now that you have a baby, are you going to make little baby dude clothes?
You know, it's funny. I thought about that when we found out she was pregnant. I started looking. I'm like, should we do guys' clothes? And then I started looking at like the market, and it's pretty crazy. In kids' clothes, especially infant clothes, there's stuff that's really cheap, and there's stuff that's really expensive. And there's not a whole lot in the middle. And I think because that's kind of like the customer, like you can go to Carter's and get like a full outfit for like $10, or you can go to like people go to Nordstrom and spend, $50 on a pair of jeans. And I just think that like what we make at 5'4" to hit the price point of some of these other people, like even Target, and like Target has amazing kids clothes, or even Gap, everything's always on sale for like 50% off. So I think that it's something that we should probably not touch in the near future, because it looks like it's gonna be pretty hard.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, everybody can't go around looking like Conor McGregor's kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's wearing probably like a $2,000 suit as a kid.
And I'm sure he outgrew it in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So when you were at USC, you were in an entrepreneur. I hate that word so much. An entrepreneur class.
Entrepreneurship program. Yeah.
That's when you guys came up with 5'4", and at the end, everybody had to present. What's the craziest concept that came out of that class or got presented at that class?
So it's not going to sound crazy until I tell you the catch. So this guy, I feel really bad. We were obviously all 20, 21 years old. This guy was late 30s, kind of had saved his money, and his dream was to get a college degree from USC, and he had a successful business, saved his money, and he enrolled in USC, and this is the final semester, and he came up with a concept of a Mexican restaurant, which, had its little quirkiness to it that everyone's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then his catch was, it was also a drive-through, but the bigger catch is he had a drive-through margarita station. And we were like, you can't serve alcohol in the drive-through. This poor guy had spent 1 year, and he presented it to the class, and we were like, oh my God, this guy was just going to get people killed giving margaritas outside of a drive-through.
That's amazing.
Like, so illegal.
He should come to San Antonio.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
He should come to San Antonio because we have those here.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
So in California, we were just like, no fucking way this is going to be allowed.
So the way they get around the open container law here is they put a lid on it. They put a lid
that
on
really
it.
Works,
That's crazy, yeah. And some places, like there's places that aren't restaurants, it's just drive-through alcohol. And they'll give you like a margarita in a Ziploc bag with a straw.
God. I guess maybe he was coming from San Antonio. I don't know.
Or you know what?
California, like.
Yeah, and this was a while back in California, so maybe he did come here.
Yeah. That's too funny.
So why 5'4"? Why that name?
So, I mean, at the time it was just a slang term that we kind of said to each other to say goodbye. So, we grew up listening to, like, rap and hip-hop, and, like, we used to always hear people say, like, one love, peace, all these kind of ways of, like, kind of endearment. And a friend of ours just said 5'4", and we were like, what is that? And he's like, 5 minus 4 equals 1, just to be different. And we thought that was the funniest thing because it sounded so ridiculous. And then we just kept saying 5'4", 5'4", 5'4", like 10,000 times over. And next thing you know, we're launching a business, and we needed a name. And it was just for the business plan. It didn't matter. We didn't think we'd actually do anything. And we called the business plan 5'4", and when we had to print our first T-shirts our senior year of college, we just put 5'4" on it, and not thinking, how are we going to explain this 20 years from now?
And it just stuck? You just kept it the whole time?
It just stuck, and we just have kept with it. Pretty funny.
That's kick-ass. What's the magic show?
So the magic show is a trade show that still exists. It's kind of like on its dying days. So what it was is brands from all over the world would set up booths. So you'd spend, a ton of money to make this incredible booth where you'd showcase all your product for future seasons. And then retailers, small and large, from all over the world would show up to find the brands that they want to work with, or continue to meet with people of existing brands they work with. So when we started, Magic was where you got business, and there would literally be like 150,000 people in Las Vegas gathered twice a year to go look at product, and the energy was just bananas. It was just, business was so good, everyone was making money, all the retailers would bring their whole teams, the brands would bring their teams, and it was just a big party. Like, you would work from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You would take people out to dinner, party all night, and do it. It was 4 days. It was literally, I would go to Vegas for 8 days, and it was just a big whirlwind time to kind of convince retailers to buy your brand. And as the industry changed, it kind of faded away. And now it's just a kind of skeleton of itself of maybe 10,000, 20,000 people show up, and it's kind of like people are dragged going, they just hate going there, and it's really just lost its energy. But at one point, it was a phenomenal thing to witness.
So the first time you went there, you kind of came away with somewhat, I would call basically catastrophic results. What made you go back? Because you went back.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we were like, where else can you get customers? So from August 2002 to February, I decided to start traveling to all the stores. And I think when I started traveling and I was able to convert customers, because when you show up to Livonia, Michigan, or Houston, or, Pittsburgh, and you show up to their store, people were like, oh, you're serious. You really want our business. And between those 6 months, I had visited so many stores that I was confident if we had those personal relationships, the next shows would be better. And, it was marginally better on the second, but by the third show, we really had gained traction. 1 full year of traveling the country and building relationships, because it's like any business. At the end of the day, we're all kind of selling the same stuff. Brands will get hot and cold, but if you have a personal relationship with the people you work with, they're going to give you a shot. And, especially in a business which still had buyers and there were sellers, the people who had the best relationship with the buyers ended up always doing well. And that was my goal, is to kind of foster those relationships. And so I felt confident if I keep going back and they keep seeing your face, they'll eventually get comfortable enough to do business with us, which they did.
Are you still in business with any of those people? I mean, I know you don't sell in retail, but you still know any of those people that you...
For Young and Reckless, actually, yeah. For Young and Reckless, I actually still sell a lot of those people. Like, I mean, some of those accounts I've had for like literally 15 years. Like, they were young kids when they started. I was young, and now, everyone's married with kids, and we're still talking quite often, and we're still friends. So it's pretty cool that I'm still able to do business with a lot of those folks.
That's really cool. So
yeah.
This is going to sound wrong, but just try and take it in the spirit. You guys, I would imagine, have... I'm going to assume I'm not your only customer or your only member. I'm going to assume you have a whole lot of them. So that means that you guys have to put out, X amount of packages every month, which is a big number. Like, what made you think that you could do that? Like, how did you not get scared by the enormity of that task?
I think what we realized was, like, at the end of the day, if you provide great product, a great experience, and at the right price, this thing should have millions of members one day. And that's really what gave us the confidence to continue to grow every month, keep pouring every last penny of profit into the next month, is because I personally just don't see any better experience, brand, or product for the dollar value anywhere on the internet, anywhere in retail stores. So as long as I still feel that, I'm going to keep betting on it on a monthly basis, because I just don't see, there's a lot of great brands, there's a lot of great product, and there's a lot of great experiences, and there's a lot of people that make stuff for really cheap. But I don't think someone does all of it. And I think we still stand out in that crowd. Even in subscription, there's so many people that are doing subscription now, but they're doing it a slightly different way than us. They're either doing it with third-party brands, or they're taking the stylist approach, and the price is too high. So all those things added up, I felt confident that, I think it's going to be very hard for someone to replicate what we do, so we might as well keep investing in growing the business.
I agree with everything that you said, except you used the word cheap. And I think you should just take that word out of your vocabulary, because these clothes may be inexpensive, but they're not cheap.
Yeah. No, and I don't want to make the clothes sound cheap, because we're making the product in the same factories as J. Crew, Levi's, the best stores and best brands in the world. So we're definitely not making cheap product. I think what we're doing is we're putting all the money in the product, and since we sell it direct to the customer, we're able to offer a better price than everybody else.
I agree. Are you in any way affiliated with Casper Mattress?
So our friend was actually a seed investor in Casper.
Oh, cool.
So I know them very well.
That's neat. Well, Dee Murthy, I super appreciate you sitting down with me. I have been so excited ever since you agreed to do this. I have been like a little schoolgirl with the anticipation and excitement just to talk to you, because you did the American dream. You did it. It's not over. You're not done, but you didn't start out, rich, and I'm not going to say you're rich now, but you have built this massive empire with all of these different companies, and I just think that's a really cool story. You don't hear a whole lot of that nowadays. It's out there, but I just think it's a wonderful story, and I was very excited to talk to you.
Thank you, man, and I appreciate all your support for the business and the brands, and having the confidence in what we do. It means a lot to us.
I tell everybody. I tweet photos whenever I get my packages. I just tweet them. I can't believe it. Yeah. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, brother.
All right, thanks, Dee. You go home to your wife and your baby.
We'll crack open that pappy.
It'll be gone before I get there. All right, take it easy, Dee. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening, guys. That was Dee Murthy. You can find him on Twitter at Dee Murthy. That's DeeMurthy. And also on Instagram and Facebook under that same name. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys. If you like what I'm doing, rate and review the podcast on iTunes and wherever else you're getting the podcast. And if you do order things from Amazon, it would really help me out if you use that Amazon banner that's on the website at fascinationstreetpod.com, and just click through whenever you're buying stuff from Amazon. You can click through the first time and then save that to your favorites or bookmark it, and every time you use it, you don't have to go to the website to get there. I appreciate it, guys. Enjoy. Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2014 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is Apollo from the 2001 album Into the Known by the band Sapphire. Thanks for hanging out with us and getting to know a little bit about our guest. We'll see you next time on Fascination Street.